Hello, this is Stephen Violi from the Psychology Webinar Group, and today we have a very special guest returning by the name of Roger Moore. Roger is from Bainbridge Island in America, and his website is hypnosishealthinfo.com. If you are familiar with our podcast, you would have heard Roger's interview regarding this topic. That can be found on iTunes and our website, which is unfortunately going through a little technical glitch just right now, but that's all going to be fixed. And we also have Orange Blossom, which Roger gracefully allowed us to share with our audience, you guys. And from all accounts, it's people have absolutely loved your Orange Blossom audio, Roger, and have been doing so since we shared it on our Facebook page a little while ago when we had our first webinar together. And this is a webinar that I've really personally been looking forward to. And I know this is one of Roger's favourite topics, so I'd like to go to the next slide and introduce myself. Hi, I'm Stephen Violi. I'm your host for today's webinar and your host for psychwebinars.com, and if there's anything at all that I can help you with, please do not hesitate to email Stephen with a PH at psychwebinars.com. We're looking at enhancing our customers' experience in a few ways. So we might get you to fill out a couple more surveys in time to just help us help you. We really want to deliver what you're needing. And I'll go next to Roger's slide and introduce Roger. Welcome, Roger. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Stephen. Thank you.
That's good. Now,
good to be back.
Oh, it's great to have you back. It's really, really good to have you back. Now, I actually don't have your bio in front of me, but would you like to? I don't want to butcher your experience. I know that you've got 40 years experience in the field. You're accredited with the International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association and a few other associations and federations, as you can see on the screen. How else would you like to introduce yourself, Roger?
Well, I'm a certified counselor here in the state of Washington and a registered hypnotherapist. I do some traditional couples counseling, and although I do a lot of mindfulness and hypnosis in that as well, and much of my practice is medical hypnosis dealing with wellness issues.
Mm-hmm. And in that context, you have specialized in hypnotherapy and mindfulness?
Yes, and using mindfulness and hypnosis for dealing with autoimmune diseases, recovering from cancer, irritable bowel, fibromyalgia, weight loss, stop smoking, any medical issue. I've been working with hypnosis for a number of years now. And I also work out of Peninsula Cancer Center.
Okay. Okay, and you've got a few products like that available for sale at hypnosishealthinfo.com, don't you?
Yes, they're primarily geared for clients, for consumers. There is some training topics on pain control and autoimmune disease available through my website, but most of my material is actually geared for consumers.
Okay, all right. All right, now we'll go into the presentation. Unless there was anything else you'd like to
let's
say,
go.
Roger, before we start.
Let's go.
Perfect. Okay. I'll hand it over to you.
All right. Thanks, Stephen. So last time we talked about stress as a real or interpreted threat to the psychological and physiological integrity of an individual that results in physiological and or behavioral responses. And just a question, Stephen, did I just screw that up? Or okay, you can see me. There we go. And you know, stress is something that we all deal with. It's you know, in our daily lives. And one of the things that's important for people to remember is that all the stress reduction techniques in the world are not going to slow the earth down from its spin. It's not going to slow down the stressors that we face. All it does is change how we respond to them. And you can go on to the next slide there, Stephen. There we go. So when we're stressed, there's a burst of energy, there's heightened memory function, there's a burst of increased immunity and a lower sensitivity to pain. And all that's great stuff. You know, we were created to outrun the saber-toothed tiger, or if the saber-toothed tiger was glommed onto us, you know, while we were sitting around the campfire at night, we would have a stress reaction, we go into shock and have a fairly painless death. All of that was a very good thing. But the problem is that as stress builds up over time, we end up with impaired cognitive performance, suppressed thyroid function, blood sugar imbalances, decreased bone density, higher blood pressure, lower immunity, and increased abdominal fat. And what's also important to remember is that the stressors in our lives can be very real, as in, you know, being stuck in traffic jams or having family issues or work issues or other real life situations, and they also can be what we perceive. You know, if we're going through life, woe is me, ain't it awful, and what about this, and what if that happens, you know, the henny penny, sky is falling type of syndrome. We're imagining these horrible events. Our bodies respond the same way. Our bodies don't know the difference whether the stress is real or imagined. It's going to respond with you know, the same stress chemicals. And you know, back in the days when we were being chased by saber-toothed tigers, we outran the tiger. We burnt up the cortisol. But today, most of us aren't literally being chased by a tiger. We all have our tigers, but we're not literally being chased. Then we don't end up running. We don't burn up that cortisol. Instead, we're sitting at our keyboards, we're sitting in front of the TV with the remote, or we're driving down the road behind a steering wheel, and we're not literally burning up that cortisol, and then it becomes very toxic. Next slide.